Each morning we are given a fresh opportunity, a new day filled with endless possibilities. It's like an empty canvas waiting to be painted. But how often do we rush out of bed, caught up in the demands and busyness of life, without pausing to center ourselves in gratitude and reflection? Imagine this. The first moments of your day are powerful. They set the tone for everything that follows. By giving God the first part of your day, you are inviting His presence into your life, acknowledging that He is the source of all your strength, wisdom, and peace. It doesn't have to be a long, elaborate prayer. It could be as simple as thanking God for waking you up, for the breath in your lungs, for the chance to begin anew. It could be a moment of stillness, where you ask for guidance, wisdom, or just to feel His presence with you throughout the day. The key is to start with Him, to acknowledge that He is the one who holds your future, and that without Him, nothing is possible. Think about it. When you give God the first part of your day, it's like you're placing the foundation for everything that comes next. You invite peace into your heart before the world's noise tries to take over. You set your mind on things above before your worries and distractions try to consume you. And with each prayer, no matter how small or simple, you remind yourself that your life is not just about you. It's about something greater. So let's make it a habit, a daily practice to give God the start of our day, whether it's a prayer, a moment of gratitude, or a few quiet breaths in His presence. Remember that starting your day with God is the best way to prepare for whatever comes. He's the first we turn to, and in doing so, we're reminded that He walks with us through everything. May your day be filled with His peace, His love, and His guidance. Let us always begin with Him. Amen. When we wake up in the morning, we are presented with a brand new opportunity, a blank slate. We have the chance to begin fresh, to set the tone for the hours that lie ahead. But in the midst of this newness, it's easy to fall into the habit of rushing through the early moments of the day without giving much thought to what truly matters. The world calls us to dive into tasks, responsibilities, and the noise of life. But when we take a moment to acknowledge God at the start of our day, we are inviting His presence to be with us in every moment that follows. Starting our day with God is a powerful way to establish a spiritual foundation that can carry us through the challenges and joys that come. It's more than just a ritual or a checkbox to mark off. It's an intentional act of surrender and recognition that, without Him, our day cannot be fully whole. By taking the first moments of the day to connect with God, whether through prayer, worship, or simply quiet reflection, we create space for Him to lead, guide, and be present in all that we do. When we begin with God, we are choosing to put Him first before the distractions of the world can take hold. We are acknowledging that He is the source of all that we need. It's an act of humility, recognizing that we are not in control of everything, and that we need His wisdom, strength, and peace. In those quiet moments, we invite God to take our hearts, our thoughts, and our plans and align them with His will. As we do this, we create a foundation of peace that can carry us through whatever the day brings. The presence of God at the start of our day brings a deep sense of reassurance. Life can sometimes feel overwhelming with so many things competing for our attention and energy. But when we take that first step toward God, we are reminded that He is always with us. His presence fills our hearts, calming our anxieties and setting our minds at ease. It's like being wrapped in the warmth of His love, knowing that we are not alone, no matter what challenges may come. We can face the day with confidence, knowing that He is guiding our steps and walking alongside us. This act of inviting God's presence is not limited to just a morning prayer or devotion. It's about cultivating a mindset throughout the day that centers on Him. By beginning with God, we are training our hearts and minds to stay attuned to His presence. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and forget to seek His guidance. But when we establish the habit of seeking Him first thing, we are better equipped to recognize His voice throughout the day. Whether it's in a quiet moment of prayer, a scripture verse that speaks to us, or a sudden reminder of His love, we begin to see His presence in the small and big moments alike. When we start our day by acknowledging God, we also open ourselves to hearing from Him. Prayer is not just about talking to God. It's about listening as well. As we sit in His presence, we create space to hear His whispers of encouragement, direction, or correction. Sometimes we may not even realize how much we need His guidance until we pause and invite Him in. In those moments of stillness, God can speak directly to our hearts, giving us clarity, peace, or strength for whatever the day may bring. The simple act of inviting God into our day can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. When we give Him the first moments of our time, everything else seems to fall into place. Our priorities shift, and our hearts are realigned with what truly matters. We are reminded that we are part of something greater than ourselves. Each task, each interaction becomes an opportunity to glorify Him and serve others in His name. And even when we face challenges or moments of frustration, we know that God's presence is with us, helping us navigate the ups and downs with grace and peace. Starting our day with God also creates a spiritual rhythm in our lives. Just as we need physical nourishment every day, our spirits need daily attention as well. Just as we take the time to care for our bodies through food, rest, and exercise, we must also nourish our souls. Spending time with God in the morning is like feeding our spirits, giving us the strength and sustenance to face the day ahead. It's a way to ground ourselves in His truth, so that no matter what circumstances we encounter, we are rooted in the unwavering love and faithfulness of God. When we make the intentional choice to begin our day with God, we are not just adding a spiritual practice to our routine, we are inviting His presence to transform our entire day. From the moment we wake up, we set the tone for how we will approach everything that lies ahead. We allow Him to shape our attitudes, our reactions, and our outlook on life. It's a decision to seek Him first, to prioritize His presence above all else, and to trust that He will guide us through the moments of the day. As we continue to make this a daily habit, we will experience the peace, clarity, and joy that comes from living a life centered on God. And in doing so, we will discover that each day, when we start with Him, becomes a beautiful journey of growth, love, and grace. Starting the day by turning to God is one of the most impactful choices we can make for our lives. The world around us is filled with distractions, demands, and responsibilities that often pull our attention in every direction. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle, allowing the noise of everyday life to drown out the still, small voice that calls us to a higher purpose. However, when we give God the first part of our day, we take a moment to realign our hearts and minds with what truly matters. This simple act helps us refocus on the bigger picture, one that is guided by God's wisdom, love, and purpose for our lives. The early moments of the day are incredibly powerful. They set the stage for how we will approach the rest of our time. If we begin the day thinking about our to-do list, the challenges ahead, or the worries we carry, we can quickly become overwhelmed. But when we start our day by placing our attention on God, we are reminded that we do not have to face the day alone. God is with us, and He is the one who holds the bigger picture of our lives in His hands. This shift in focus from our immediate worries to God's greater purpose helps us see things from a new perspective. In a world that constantly demands our attention and energy, it can be difficult to remember the eternal truths that should anchor us. Life is filled with momentary distractions like deadlines, obligations, and personal concerns. But when we give God the first part of our day, we are reminding ourselves that there is more to life than these temporary challenges. We are reminded that our lives are part of a much bigger story, one that is guided by God's plans, His love, and His perfect timing. When we center ourselves in God's presence at the beginning of the day, we are choosing to focus on what truly matters: our relationship with Him, our purpose in His kingdom, and the love we are called to share with others. Starting the day with God also helps us confront the stress and worries that naturally arise throughout the day. It's easy to allow anxiety and fear to take root in our hearts when we focus on the challenges we face. However, when we begin the day with prayer, worship, or simply reflecting on God's promises, we place our concerns in His hands. We remind ourselves that He is in control and that nothing is too big for Him to handle. This act of surrender not only alleviates the burden of worry, but also shifts our focus away from the things that weigh us down. It helps us replace fear with faith, knowing that God has a plan for us and He will provide for our needs. By starting the day with God, we are choosing to make Him the center of our thoughts and actions. It can be so easy to get lost in the demands of the day, meeting deadlines, handling responsibilities, or dealing with unexpected challenges. But when we give God the first moments of our time, we invite Him to shape our perspective on everything else. This shift in focus changes the way we approach our work, relationships, and decisions. Rather than reacting out of stress or frustration, we can respond with patience, wisdom, and grace, knowing that God's presence is guiding us. Furthermore, giving God the first part of the day helps us to be intentional about our priorities. It's easy to get distracted by the immediate tasks at hand, but when we begin our day by seeking God's guidance, we gain a clearer sense of what truly matters. We are reminded that our ultimate purpose is not found in our careers, achievements, or positions, but in our relationship with God and our calling to serve others. This shift in perspective helps us to prioritize the things that will have lasting value, such as love, kindness, generosity, and faithfulness. It also helps us recognize when we are being pulled away from what is truly important by the fleeting distractions of the world. Starting the day with God also serves as a powerful reminder that our lives are not about us, they are about Him. When we take the time to acknowledge God at the start of our day, we are stepping out of our own limited perspective and into His greater vision for our lives. We are reminded that we are not defined by our circumstances or the expectations of others, but by our identity in Christ. This understanding helps us approach the day with humility, gratitude, and a willingness to serve. It allows us to see every moment as an opportunity to reflect God's love, whether we are at work, with family, or engaging with others in the community. As we continue to make a habit of seeking God first thing each day, we begin to notice a subtle shift in our hearts and minds. The more we align our focus with His, the less we are overwhelmed by the worries and pressures of life. We start to see things through His eyes, and we begin to understand that the challenges we face are not obstacles, but opportunities to grow in faith and trust. By consistently giving God the first part of our day, we are continually realigning our hearts with His will, reminding ourselves that our lives are part of something much greater than our immediate concerns. In the end, giving God the first part of our day is not just about a routine or a habit. It is about intentionally placing Him at the center of our lives. It is about choosing to focus on what truly matters, our relationship with God, our purpose in Christ, and the love we are called to share with others. When we do this, we align our focus with His greater plan and open ourselves to His peace, guidance, and wisdom for the day ahead. We begin to live with a sense of purpose, knowing that God is directing our steps, and we are walking in the direction He has set before us. There's something incredibly powerful about the quiet moments of the morning. Before the world awakens fully, before the rush of emails, phone calls, and responsibilities begin to demand our attention, we have a brief window of time to pause, breathe, and connect with something greater than ourselves. Starting the day in prayer or quiet reflection is more than just a spiritual practice. It's a way of inviting peace into our hearts, giving us the strength to face whatever the day may bring. When we wake up, the natural tendency is often to dive straight into the busyness of life. We begin to think about our tasks, our deadlines, and the things we need to accomplish. In those first moments, it's easy to allow the pressure of the day to begin creeping in. But by choosing to start the morning with prayer or quiet reflection, we set the tone for a calmer, more focused approach to the day. Inviting peace into our hearts at the start of the day serves as a buffer against the noise and chaos that will inevitably arise later. When we take time to be still, to acknowledge God's presence, and to center ourselves in His peace, we are giving ourselves the mental and emotional tools needed to navigate the challenges that will come. It's like putting on an armor of peace that will help protect us from stress and anxiety as we move through the day. Instead of reacting impulsively to every challenge that comes our way, we approach the day with a sense of calm, grounded in the quiet moments spent in God's presence. One of the most remarkable aspects of starting the day with prayer or reflection is that it allows us to set aside any worries or concerns that might be weighing on our hearts. The world often pulls us in a million different directions, and it's easy to get lost in the swirl of thoughts, tasks, and expectations. But by taking time to focus on God, we remind ourselves that we are not in control of everything. We release our anxieties and place them in His hands, trusting that He will provide for us, guide us, and give us the strength we need to face whatever comes our way. This act of surrender brings a deep sense of peace, knowing that we do not have to carry the weight of the world on our own shoulders. This peace doesn't just last for the few minutes of prayer or reflection in the morning. It begins to carry us through the entire day. When we start the day with God, we invite His peace into every moment. We are reminded that no matter what happens, His presence will always be with us. This allows us to face difficulties with a calm spirit, knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. The problems that might have once seemed overwhelming or insurmountable take on a different perspective when viewed through the lens of God's peace. Even in the midst of chaos, we can hold on to the peace that comes from knowing that He is in control and that He will guide us through. In addition, starting the day with prayer or quiet reflection helps us prioritize what truly matters. Often the busyness of life can cause us to lose sight of our purpose. We get caught up in the hustle, striving to meet deadlines, please others, and achieve more. This can lead to feelings of burnout or dissatisfaction. But when we begin the day by focusing on God, we are reminded of our true purpose, to love Him and to love others. We are reminded that our worth is not measured by our productivity, but by our relationship with Him. This shift in perspective brings a deep sense of peace because it frees us from the pressure of constantly striving for more. We can face the day with a sense of contentment, knowing that we are loved and valued by God just as we are. Moreover, taking the time to pray or reflect in the morning helps us set a positive intention for the day. We are intentional about inviting peace, grace, and gratitude into our hearts. This sets a tone of mindfulness that can carry us through even the most hectic moments. When we choose peace at the start of the day, we are more likely to respond to life's challenges with patience and calm. We can approach difficult situations with a sense of equanimity rather than reacting out of frustration or stress. We become more aware of our thoughts and emotions, and we can choose to respond in a way that reflects God's peace rather than being swept away by the turbulence of the world. The beauty of starting the day with peace is that it allows us to carry that peace with us throughout the day. It is like planting a seed in our hearts that continues to grow and blossom as the day unfolds. Even as the busyness of life picks up, we can still find moments of stillness within ourselves. We can return to that peace whenever we need it, whether it's through a quick prayer, a moment of gratitude, or simply taking a few deep breaths. By grounding ourselves in God's peace at the start of the day, we create a wellspring of calm that we can draw from whenever life gets overwhelming. Ultimately, starting the day in prayer or quiet reflection is an intentional choice to invite peace into our hearts before the chaos of the world begins. It's a way of setting aside the worries, anxieties, and distractions of the day and focusing on God's presence, love, and peace. This practice not only prepares us mentally and emotionally for the day ahead, but also strengthens our ability to face life's challenges with grace and calm. As we continue to start our days with peace, we will find that the rush of the world has less power to steal our joy and serenity. Instead, we carry God's peace with us, allowing it to be a steady anchor in the midst of life's storms. Starting the day with God is more than just a morning routine. It is a powerful way to cultivate a heart of gratitude and trust in His presence. In the quiet moments before the busyness of the day takes over, Taking time to reflect on God's goodness and acknowledge His sovereignty over our lives can transform our perspective. Gratitude is not always easy to come by, especially when life feels heavy or overwhelming, but when we begin our day by focusing on the blessings we've received, no matter how small, we are reminded of God's faithfulness. These small daily acts of gratitude are not just fleeting emotions. They are the building blocks of a life that continually relies on God's provision, love, and guidance. By starting our day with God, we are deliberately making space for gratitude to take root in our hearts. It may begin with something as simple as thanking Him for waking us up to see another day, for the breath in our lungs, or for the opportunities that lie ahead. Often in the rush of life, we overlook these small gifts, but when we take the time to acknowledge them at the start of the day, we remind ourselves that everything we have is a gift from God. Gratitude becomes a lens through which we view the world. We begin to notice the blessings in even the most ordinary moments. The warmth of a cup of coffee, the beauty of the sunrise, the laughter of a loved one. When we begin our day with a heart of gratitude, we open ourselves to experiencing God's goodness in every aspect of our lives. This practice of gratitude is not only about acknowledging the good things in our lives, it also encourages us to trust that God is at work in all things, both the pleasant and the difficult. Sometimes it's easy to be grateful when things are going well, but the true test of our trust in God comes when we face challenges, uncertainties, or hardships. By choosing to start our day with God, we are affirming our trust in His plan for our lives, even when we cannot see the bigger picture. Life is filled with unexpected twists and turns, and there are days when we may feel lost or uncertain about what lies ahead. But when we center our hearts on God each morning, we are reminded that He is in control and that He has a purpose for every season of our lives. Trusting in God doesn't mean that we will never face difficulties. It means that we are confident that He will walk with us through those times. When we begin the day with prayer, we are acknowledging that we need God's guidance, strength, and wisdom to face whatever comes our way. In those moments of surrender, we find peace, knowing that God's plan for us is good and that He will equip us with what we need to fulfill our purpose. Gratitude and trust go hand in hand. When we thank God for what He has done, we are also placing our trust in Him to continue working in our lives, regardless of what the day holds. As we continue to practice gratitude each morning, we begin to develop a deeper sense of trust in God's timing and His provision. We recognize that His ways are higher than our ways, and even when we don't understand the why or how of our circumstances, we trust that He is working everything together for our good. This trust becomes a foundation on which we can build our lives, allowing us to navigate the ups and downs of life with a sense of security and confidence. We know that we are not alone, and that God's love for us is unchanging, regardless of the challenges we face. This habit of gratitude and trust also shapes the way we interact with the world. When we start our day by acknowledging God's goodness, we are more likely to approach others with kindness, patience, and understanding. We recognize that all of our relationships are gifts from God, and we begin to see the people around us as opportunities to reflect His love and grace. Gratitude opens our hearts, allowing us to appreciate the beauty in the world and the people in our lives. It shifts our focus from what we don't have to what we do have, and in doing so, it fosters a deeper sense of contentment and joy. Moreover, as we continue to practice gratitude and trust, we begin to see how God's hand is evident in every aspect of our lives. No matter how small the blessing may seem, we become more attuned to the ways in which God is working. A simple prayer in the morning can transform the way we view the day ahead, helping us to focus not on what is lacking or what we wish were different. This mindset change is powerful. It helps us to stop chasing after fleeting desires and instead recognize the abundance that is already present in our lives. The habit of gratitude and trust that is cultivated in the quiet moments of the morning carries with it long-lasting effects. As we continue to dedicate the first part of our day to God, we learn to live with an attitude of thankfulness that flows into every area of our lives. Gratitude becomes a lens through which we see the world, and trust becomes the foundation on which we build our decisions, our relationships, and our sense of purpose. It becomes a life-giving habit that shapes our hearts and minds, leading us to a deeper relationship with God and a more fulfilling life. In the end, starting our day with God is not just about going through the motions of prayer. It's about cultivating a heart that is rooted in gratitude and trust. It's about recognizing that everything we have is a gift from God and that He is in control of all things. As we develop this habit, we begin to experience a peace and joy that comes from knowing that we can trust God with our lives, no matter what the day may bring. Each morning becomes an opportunity to renew our trust in Him and to thank Him for the countless blessings He has given us. And in doing so, we build a life that reflects His love, faithfulness, and grace. The start of the day is a critical moment that often shapes the way we face the challenges that lie ahead. Life with its ups and downs brings an array of obstacles that can seem overwhelming at times. From the small inconveniences to the more significant difficulties, there is often a feeling of uncertainty about what the day will bring. But by giving God the first moments of your day, whether through prayer, worship, or quiet reflection, you are mentally and spiritually preparing yourself to handle whatever challenges come your way. This simple act of surrender allows you to start the day with a sense of purpose and peace, knowing that God is by your side, ready to guide and strengthen you. When we begin our day by acknowledging God, we are aligning ourselves with His strength and wisdom. Life is unpredictable and challenges can arise when we least expect them. Whether it's a difficult conversation, a tough decision at work, or a personal struggle, we often feel unprepared to face the demands of the day. However, by committing the first moments of our day to God, we are acknowledging that we cannot face life on our own. We are reminded that His strength is made perfect in our weakness, and we don't have to rely solely on our own abilities to navigate through the challenges. Through prayer, we invite God to prepare our hearts, minds, and spirits for the day ahead, giving us the courage and grace to face whatever comes our way. One of the greatest benefits of giving God the first part of your day is the sense of peace that it brings. When we take time to reflect on His promises and place our concerns before Him, we can face the day with a calm confidence. Knowing that God is by our side helps us shift our focus from anxiety and worry to trust and assurance. Life may be uncertain, but God's presence is constant. This peace is not dependent on our circumstances, but on the unchanging nature of God. It is a peace that transcends our understanding and prepares us to face the day with a mindset that is rooted in faith rather than fear. Even when challenges arise, we can approach them with the peace that God provides, knowing that He is bigger than anything we may face. Starting the day with God also gives us the mental clarity we need to make wise decisions throughout the day. Challenges are often accompanied by decisions both big and small. Whether it's how to prioritize our time, how to respond to a difficult person, or how to handle an unexpected problem, the way we approach these situations matters. By dedicating time to God in the morning, we invite His wisdom into our day. We are reminded that His understanding is far greater than our own, and that we can seek His guidance in every decision we face. This helps us approach challenges with a sense of purpose and clarity, knowing that God will direct our steps and give us the discernment we need to make choices that honor Him and lead to positive outcomes. Moreover, by beginning our day with God, we are reminded of our identity and purpose. Life's challenges often cause us to question ourselves and our abilities. We may feel inadequate or overwhelmed, wondering if we have the strength to persevere. However, when we ground ourselves in God's truth, we are reminded of who we are in Christ. We are His beloved children. This reminder helps us approach life's challenges with confidence, not because of our own strength, but because of the strength that God provides. Knowing our identity in Christ enables us to face challenges with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that we are not just navigating life's difficulties for our own benefit, but for the glory of God. In addition to mental and emotional preparation, starting the day with God helps us to physically prepare for the challenges of the day. We often feel drained or weary, especially when we face long hours of work, family responsibilities, or personal struggles. However, by taking time to connect with God in the morning, we are also inviting His energy into our lives. We are acknowledging that we cannot rely on our own strength alone to get through the day. God is the source of our strength, and when we tap into His power through prayer, we are refueled for whatever lies ahead. This daily spiritual nourishment helps us approach the day with a sense of vitality and endurance, even when we feel physically tired or mentally drained. Another important aspect of preparing for life's challenges through prayer or reflection is the ability to gain perspective. When we begin our day by looking to God, we are reminded that the challenges we face are not the end of the story. Life's difficulties may seem insurmountable at the moment, but through God's eyes, we are able to see beyond the temporary struggles to the greater picture. Challenges become opportunities for growth, character development, and spiritual maturity. When we reflect on God's faithfulness in the past, we are reminded that He has seen us through difficult times before, and He will do it again. This perspective shift helps us approach challenges with resilience and hope, knowing that God is working in all things for our good. As we continue to make a habit of giving God the first moments of our day, we develop a mindset that is more resilient and adaptable to the challenges of life. We stop viewing difficulties as obstacles that will defeat us, and instead we see them as opportunities for God to work in and through us. Each challenge we face becomes a chance to trust Him more deeply, to grow in faith, and to experience His presence in new ways. With God preparing our hearts and minds each morning, we are equipped to navigate the ups and downs of life with a sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. In the end, giving God the first part of your day is not just about making it through the day. It's about preparing for life's challenges with a heart that is centered on Him. By dedicating time to prayer and reflection, we open ourselves to God's presence and allow Him to strengthen, guide, and equip us for whatever comes our way. No matter what challenges we face, we can approach each moment with confidence, knowing that we are not facing them alone. God is with us, and He has already prepared us for whatever the day may hold. The foundation of any strong relationship is built on time, attention, and commitment. Whether it's with a friend, a spouse, or a colleague, the more effort you put into a relationship, the deeper the connection becomes. The same principle applies to our relationship with God. By intentionally dedicating the first moments of each day to Him, we are actively investing in that relationship. This consistent time spent in prayer, worship, or reflection creates space for God to speak to us, draw us closer, and deepen our understanding of His presence in our lives. Over time, these moments become the pillars that strengthen our spiritual connection, providing peace, wisdom, and strength as we move through the day. Starting your day with God is an act of intentionality. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it can be easy to neglect our relationship with God. There are always distractions: work, family responsibilities, social media, and other daily obligations that pull us away from the quiet, intimate moments we could be sharing with Him. But when we choose to spend time with God first thing in the morning, we make a conscious decision to prioritize our relationship with Him over the noise of the world. This act of devotion signals to our hearts that our relationship with God is not just another task to check off the list, but a deeply important aspect of our daily lives that deserves our attention. Just like any healthy relationship, the connection with God deepens when we nurture it. The more time we spend with Him, the more we understand His character, His love, and His will for our lives. When we start the day in prayer or reflection, we open our hearts to God, allowing Him to speak to us and guide us. It is in these moments that we can hear His voice more clearly, whether it's through a quiet whisper of encouragement or a deeper understanding of His Word. As we commit to starting each day with God, we create a rhythm of connection that helps us tune into His presence and draws us closer to His heart. Over time, this consistent time spent with God fosters a relationship that is built on trust, love, and mutual understanding. The more we experience His presence in the quiet moments of the morning, the more we become aware of His presence throughout the day. It's like any relationship. At first, it may feel like we're putting in a lot of effort, but as we grow in the relationship, it becomes more natural and fluid. The connection with God begins to shape the way we view the world and interact with others. We start to see the world through the lens of His love, grace, and truth. And this understanding enriches our relationship with Him and with those around us. One of the most rewarding aspects of spending time with God in the morning is the peace it brings. The world is often filled with chaos and uncertainty, and the demands of daily life can leave us feeling anxious or overwhelmed. But when we start the day with God, we are reminded of His peace that transcends our understanding. This peace doesn't depend on our circumstances, but on the unchanging nature of God's presence in our lives. Each morning, as we turn to Him, we invite His peace into our hearts, which then flows into our interactions and decisions throughout the day. In addition to peace, time spent with God in the morning brings wisdom for the day ahead. Life is full of decisions, both big and small, and it's easy to become uncertain or unsure of what direction to take. But by starting our day with God, we are opening ourselves to His guidance and direction. The more we seek His wisdom in the quiet moments of the morning, the more we are able to recognize His leading throughout the day. Whether it's a difficult decision at work, a personal challenge, or a relationship issue, God's wisdom provides clarity and direction. It is in these moments of connection that we are reminded that we don't have to navigate life on our own. God is with us, guiding and equipping us to make choices that honor Him and align with His purpose for our lives. Strength is another gift that comes from consistently spending time with God in the morning. Life can be demanding, and there are days when we feel weary or overwhelmed by the weight of our responsibilities. But when we start our day with God, we are reminded that we do not have to rely solely on our own strength. God's strength becomes our strength, and we can face the day with renewed energy and endurance. When we invite God into our morning, we are also inviting His power to sustain us throughout the day. This strength is not just physical, it's spiritual and emotional, helping us to stay grounded, hopeful, and resilient in the face of whatever challenges may arise. As we continue to prioritize our relationship with God, by starting each day with Him, the rewards of that commitment become more apparent. Our hearts become more attuned to His voice, and we grow in understanding and wisdom. We find peace even in the midst of uncertainty, and strength to overcome challenges that once seemed impossible. Our relationship with God transforms from a mere ritual into a vibrant, life-giving connection that shapes every aspect of our lives. What begins as a small, intentional choice each morning becomes the foundation of a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with the Creator of the universe. The act of spending time with God in the morning is not just about getting through the day. It's about nurturing a relationship that will sustain us in every season of life. As we continue to invest in that relationship, we will find that our connection with God grows deeper and stronger with time. Each morning, as we seek Him first, we are not just preparing for the day ahead, we are strengthening the most important relationship in our lives. The peace, wisdom, and strength that flow from this connection will sustain us, guide us, and equip us to live lives that reflect His love and grace. In the end, this relationship with God is the greatest gift we can give ourselves, and the rewards of that relationship will echo throughout our day and our lives.